Did you hear what Clark just did for her birthday? She didn't just blow out candles. She sparked a future for thousands of kids with books. That's right, 22,000 books donated just like that. But here's the twist. Some people are actually upset about it. The book being donated is number 22 Cow, a picture book filled with life lessons about dreaming big, working hard, and valuing relationships over winning. The donation came from Dixon and Lana Jensen, the parents of Caitlin's author partner. Now, you might be thinking, how could anyone be upset about giving books to kids? Well, hold on, because we're diving into the world of sports philanthropy, and it's causing quite a stir. You won't believe what the critics are saying, trust me. It's not what you expect. Clark's move off the court might just be bigger than her three-pointers. Her foundation partnered with Scholastic to donate a massive 22,000 books to schools in need. You might be thinking, okay, that's nice, but what's the big deal? Well, here's where it gets really interesting. These books aren't just staying in Iowa. Clark isn't just focused on her home state. She's spreading the love all the way to Indiana, too. Can you believe it? She's using her star power to boost literacy and support underserved communities across 2 states. It's like she's making assists off the court as well. But hold on, there's even more. And trust me, this part's a game changer. The books aren't just going to schools. They're being sent to a variety of programs that can reach kids who need them the most. We're talking elementary schools, middle schools, and even children's hospitals. It's like Clark is passing the ball of knowledge to every kid she can reach.
22,000 brand new children's books will be distributed to various programs that can reach children in need.
And it's thanks to the Caitlin Clark Foundation and its new partnership.
You might be wondering, why is this such a game changer? Well, let me break it down for you. This isn't just about handing out free books. It's about opening doors for kids who might not have had the chance to fall in love with reading. It's about giving them the tools to dream big, just like Clark did. And here's the kicker. Scholastic isn't just tagging along for the ride. They're fully committed to this partnership. Their representatives are genuinely proud to be teaming up with the Caitlin Clark Foundation. Why? Because they're not just putting books on shelves. They're focused on making a real difference in reading access for schools that lack the resources they need. Interview. But here's where it gets really exciting. This book donation isn't just a one-time thing. It's part of something much bigger. Scholastic has this national literacy program, and Caitlin Clark's initiative is teaming up with it. They're not just handing out books. They're using this opportunity to shine a spotlight on the entire issue of reading access. They want people to wake up and realize that not all schools have the same resources when it comes to books and reading. It's a bigger movement, aimed at making real change in how we approach literacy in underserved communities.
It's a nice sentiment, but it's completely misdiagnosis of the reading problem. Man, that's the thing. Oh my God, the goalpost is always going to move. Her job is to, fix the literacy problems. Not just, let me just donate books. Let me just do this for my charity. Her job is now to make sure every kid can read. Her job is to fix the fundamental flaws with the United States education.
So, what does all this mean? Caitlin Clark isn't just changing the game on the court. She's using her fame, her success, and even her 23rd birthday to make a real difference in kids' lives. She's not just talking about giving back. She's actually doing it in a huge way. Just when you thought Caitlin Clark couldn't get any more impressive, she goes and pulls off something on her birthday that has everyone talking. But here's the twist. It's not all praise and confetti. Some people are throwing shade at Clark's good deed, and you won't believe their reason. Are we asking too much from our young athletes? Let's break it down and see what's really going on. Here's the deal. While most 23-year-olds are out partying on their birthday, Clark is out here changing lives. She's not just scoring points on the court, she's scoring big for kids who need it the most. And you'd think everyone would be cheering, right? Well, hold on to your seats, because this birthday surprise is causing some serious drama.
Yeah, she is a 23-year-old, or was, when she made the decision, she was a 22-year-old basketball player. She cannot fix a fundamental flaw in the United States educational system.
Don't get me wrong. Plenty of people are praising Clark, calling her a role model for young athletes everywhere. I mean, who doesn't love seeing a sports star use their fame for good? But here's where things take an unexpected turn. While Clark is out here changing lives on her birthday, some critics are actually saying it's not enough. Yep, you heard that right. Not enough. Can you believe it? Some folks are criticizing Clark for her good deed. It's almost like they've forgotten she's a basketball player, not a politician. Since when did we start expecting athletes to fix the entire education system?
So yeah, Clark is just a good person, isn't she? Like, it's funny with all like the haters and everything towards her, you know, credentialed WNBA journalists saying that she's she uses all the privileges of she acts like a white teenage boy and uses those privileges, and, you know, the school SA00TER person, obviously, you know, give them their WNBA credentials and all, but they'll make it seem like she's the devil, but she really is just.
But here's the thing. This whole situation is sparking a huge debate about what we really expect from our athletes. Are we putting too much pressure on them to solve all of society's problems? I mean, Clark is out here doing something incredible, and instead of celebrating it, some people are acting like she should be running for office or something. Let's get real for a second. Clark's not just some rich athlete throwing money around for good PR. She's a 23-year-old using her success to make a real difference. But some people are treating her gesture like it's just a Band-Aid on a much bigger problem. They're saying she should be tackling systemic issues in education instead of just donating books.
Between her 22nd and 23rd birthday, Clark broke the NCAA, broke Kelsey Plum's record, then broke Pete Maravich's record, then broke Lynette Woodward's record, which is obviously was in between those two, I think.
Now you might be thinking, wait a minute, isn't any help better than no help? And you'd be right. But here's where it gets really interesting. This backlash against Clark's efforts highlights how we sometimes put way too much on athletes' plates. We're not just asking them to be great at their sport anymore. Now, we want them to be superheroes who can solve all our problems with a single gesture. It's almost like we've forgotten that they're human too, and that their efforts, no matter how big or small, still make a difference.
The players are bigger and more important to the WNBA. I do. Like, look, I think the players are bigger than the league. I think there are a lot of players bigger in the league. Obviously, Clark being the biggest of all of them.
Let's really think about this. Is it fair to expect a young athlete to have all the answers? Should we be putting this kind of pressure on someone who's already doing more than most people her age? It's a conversation that's got everyone talking and raising some serious questions about what we expect from our sports stars. You think donating books is impressive? Wait till you hear what Clark did on the basketball court this year. She didn't just break records, she obliterated them. We're talking about leaving legends like Kelsey Plum, Pete Maravich, and Lynette Woodward in the dust. Can you believe it? This 22-year-old phenom completely rewrote the entire NCAA record book in a single season. Let's break it down. Remember Kelsey Plum's all-time scoring record in the NCAA women's basketball tournament? Clark shattered it like it was made of glass. But she didn't stop there. You know Pete Maravich, right? The guy they called Pistol Pete? Well, Clark just outgunned him, breaking his record for the most points in a single season. It's like she's playing a whole different game out there, obliterating records left and right like it's nothing. But here's where it gets really interesting. It wasn't all smooth sailing for Clark. Remember that game against South Carolina? Now, that was a battle. Clark faced some tough matchups. It was like David versus Goliath out there. She was up against players like Camila Cardoso and Ashlyn Watkins, who were giving her a serious run for her money. The mismatched player matchups? No joke. It tested every ounce of Clark's competitive spirit. She had players like Hannah Stockey trying to guard Cardoso and Watkins. But it was clear that was going to be a tough task. And then, of course, you saw what she did in the WNBA last year.
And the problem is, like, WNBA don't highlight anyone with stuff like this. They don't highlight anyone. And if I was, like, I've always said this in the WNBA, the issue is It's not necessarily that they're ignoring Caitlin Clark, it's that they're ignoring everyone. Like, it's scandalous how little the WNBA do to promote their own players. It is on individual teams by team by team. And some teams' social media, I don't even know who's running them.
Be thinking, okay, so she had a tough game. What's the big deal? Well, here's the kicker. This is where Clark's true character shines through. Despite the challenges, despite the tough defense, she kept pushing. She didn't back down. She didn't give up. Clark showed that she's not just about personal glory. She's got that never-say-die attitude that keeps her going no matter the odds. What separates the good from the great? Well, obviously, Caitlin Clark is 23 now, but looking back at her 22nd year, I'm not sure how many people of any age have had a better year than she did. Coaches and analysts are taking notice, not just for her skills on the court, but for her leadership, the way she impacts her teammates, and even her influence on the community. It's like Clark has this aura around her that just lifts everyone up. I mean, seriously, how many 22-year-olds can say they've had a year like that? Maybe Messi or Ronaldo? Usain Bolt in 2008? But that's about it. Now, you might be wondering, what does all this on-court stuff have to do with donating books? Well, that's the kicker. Clark's resilience in the face of tough competition, her ability to break records and stay humble, it all ties into who she is off the court. It's not just about breaking records or winning games. It's about making a difference. Whether that's inspiring her teammates or helping kids get access to books, it's all connected. All right, hold on to your seat. Clark's out here breaking records.
Fair play, Caitlin. Done a really good job just in life in general. And obviously one of the biggest names in all of sports right now, which is obviously massive. Absolutely, absolutely massive. And brilliant for the sport of basketball. Brilliant for herself. And just brilliant for everyone that's involved in the entire situation. Everyone that's playing the sport. Everyone that's like reading the books. The librarians. And for future players, seeing what a person can do with all this stuff, and with all of this type of stuff, it's making those idiots that think they're call her every name under the sun look like horrible.
Left and right, and you'd think the WNBA would be all over her, right? But here's the kicker. They're practically silent about it. Can you believe that? It's like they've got a LeBron-level talent on their hands, and they're treating her like just another player. The WNBA has a whole roster of amazing players, but it's like they're barely making a peep about any of them. They've got a treasure chest of talent and forgot where they buried it. Now, you might be thinking, come on, they've got to be promoting these stars, right? Well, here's where it gets really interesting. The WNBA's marketing game is weaker than a rookie's first day at training camp. They're relying on individual teams' social media accounts to do all the heavy lifting. And let me tell you, it's not working. You know, the WNBA's social media game is about as consistent as a streaky shooter. The real issue here isn't just that they're overlooking Caitlin Clark. It's that they're pretty much ignoring all their players. It's honestly scandalous how little the WNBA does to promote their own talent. It's all on the individual. Teams and some of their social media accounts barely even have a pulse. Compare that to the NBA, where they've got full teams of social media pros working overtime to make their players look like superheroes. Meanwhile, the WNBA is out here struggling with limited resources and personnel, like they're trying to win a championship with a high school squad. And get this, while the NBA has dedicated social media managers for every corner of the globe, the WNBA's relying on their teams to manage everything. You'd think with all the revenue they're pulling in from TV deals, $200 million a year no less, that they'd be investing in promoting their stars. But instead, it's like they've got a golden ticket and they're using it as a bookmark. Now, here's where it gets interesting. Some experts say that all it would take is 5 people. 5! Can you imagine how much of a game changer that could be? We're talking graphic designers, video editors, content managers. 5 full-time social media wizards could turn this whole thing around. The WNBA has the money to hire these people, yet they're dropping the ball. Just think about it. Caitlin is already making waves without much help. Imagine if she had a whole team behind her, hyping her up, showing off her skills, and connecting with fans. And it wouldn't just be Clark. Every player could get their moment in the spotlight. This matters because it's not just about likes and shares. It's about growing the game, filling seats, and getting more eyes on these incredible athletes. The WNBA is leaving money on the table and doing their players dirty in the process. But here's the twist. While the WNBA sleeps on their marketing game, Clark has a chance to build her own brand. She's already shown she can make an impact off the court with her book donation. So imagine what she could do if she took her social media game to the next level. Speaking of, Caitlin isn't just stopping at donating books to schools. Her foundation has taken it even further, partnering with Scholastic to spread the love of reading. We're talking children's hospitals and nonprofit organizations getting in on this book bonanza. It's massive. Not just for her, but for basketball, for literacy, and for future players who will look up to what she's done. Clark's showing that she's more than just a baller. She's changing the game off the court, too. But here's the big question. Is this enough? Should athletes be expected to do even more for their communities? Clark's out here changing lives, but some people still want more. What do you think? Is she setting the bar, or should we expect our sports stars to be superheroes in every part of life? One thing's for sure. Caitlin is proving that being a baller isn't just about what you do on the court. It's about how you change the game of life for others, too.